Check, check, check. today. We will hear, and this is the inaugural debate, so let us give the Jamaica Civil Service Association a round of applause. Um, Of course, we're employing the use of technology in these times, particularly because we are in the midst of a global pandemic, which the government is working on managing. And as a result of that, we are keeping as, well, distant as we can. So I implore all of you to please remain safe, continue to wear your mask when you are out, and observe other health protocols of sanitizing your hands and so on. All right. Now, my name is Garth Williams. I will be your moderator for the day. Today we will hear from candidates contesting 3 offices. Those are the office of Treasurer, 3rd Vice President, and 1st Vice President. In a moment, I will invite Tiffany Powell Williams to bring the official welcome. But just to let you know that we will hear from the candidates. We have a panel of judges. 2 are in-house. 1 is joining us remotely. And then from the presentations will come a question and answer segment. Includes questions from you online as well as from our panel of judges. With that said, though, it is my pleasure to invite Tiffany Powell Williams. Welcome.
Master of Ceremony, President Grant, officers of the distinguished judges, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, distinguished delegates, electoral candidates, friends, a pleasant good morning. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to this inaugural Jamaica Civil Service Association electoral debate. Nelson Mandela once said, "A good leader can engage in a debate frankly and thoroughly, knowing that at the end he or she and the other side must be closer and thus emerge stronger. You don't have an idea that you are arrogant, superficial, and uninformed." Sharing experiences and learning from each other is a key building block in developing sound policies and regulatory frameworks which are tailored to address the needs of the future of our members and the country at large. And so the opinions and the policy proposals to the membership, which will be in keeping with the JCSA's strategic direction. The debate is being broadcast live via YouTube and Zoom. I'm pleased to have on this distinguished panel of judges, Dr. Nsombe Jaja, Sister Jean Menzie Hastings, and Sister Maud Chambers, and of course, our host, Mr. Garth Williams. Our distinguished candidates, Sister Keisha James, Departmental Representative from the Kingston Public Hospital, as well as the Victoria Jubilee Hospital, vying for the position of First Vice President. Welcome. Sister Tisha Clark Griffiths, First Vice President, seeking re-election to the position of First Vice President. Brother Clarence Frater, Departmental Representative and Executive Committee Member from the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture, and Fisheries, vying for the position of Third Vice President. Sister Melanie Mullins Arnold, Departmental Representative and Executive Committee Member from the Tax Administration Jamaica, vying for the position of Honorary Treasurer. A real leader uses every issue, no matter how serious and sensitive, to ensure that at the end of the debate, we should emerge stronger and more united than ever before. And this is a quote from Nelson Mandela. Candidates, I say this to you. Debating is a skill, and arguing politely is an art. All the best, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Powell Williams. I realized that you refer to everybody as sisters and brothers. Kind of took me back to my church days. All right, good. So we are photographer. Go ahead. Good. I say it all the while that my agent has asked of me to make sure that I get a good photo first, and then all the candidates can come after that. Those are the fun ones, but you have to get a good one in. All right, so today will be, well, as we said, it is a new day, and we expect that the candidates, particularly based on how you refer to each other as sisters and brothers, no doubt will keep it respectful. We expect as well that you will honor the time given. You each have up to 15 minutes to present. Nonetheless, you don't have to use all 15 minutes, right? The most important thing is that you don't go over that 15-minute limit. Then we will open the floor for 5 minutes of questions from the audience, and we will have up to 5 minutes of questions from the judges. What I will ask of judges and audience, listen carefully, make your notes, and keep your questions as pointed as possible, so that you don't end up doing a bit of a prologue before you share your question. Just get right to it. Make the questions as clear as possible as well, so that you can get the clearest response from each of the candidates. With that said, it is now time for me to announce the judges, and then thereafter, we will enter into presentations from the candidates. Just a reminder, for the office of treasurer, I have 2 names here, but one apparently is unable to be here. Those are Suzette Grant and Melanie Mullings-Arnold. I understand that Suzette is unable to be here with us today. So we will only hear from Melanie Mullings-Arnold. Third Vice President, Mr. Clarence Frater and Ms. Sharon Anderson. However, Anderson was unable to take up the invitation, so we will only hear from Mr. Frater. Then for First VP, Tisha Clark Griffiths and Keisha James, as well as Claudette Parker, and all 3 will be participating. We will not have Ms. Parker with us today, so we will only hear from Clark Griffiths and James. So then it means 1, 2, 3, 4 presentations at 15 minutes a pop. It means we'll hear presentations for an hour. And then with the questions thereafter, for each position, for each role, that's probably another half an hour total, right? So we should be in and out of here in a flash. That's good news. All right, our judges. Joining us online, Dr. Nsombi Jaja, who received her training in quality through 2 fellowship awards from UNIDO and the government of Japan, and 1 fellowship award from the government of Sweden. These fellowships funded courses of study in practical work, as well as exposure and application of the Japanese system of quality control and quality management in Japan and Malaysia. She's also received foundation training in quality management, which was provided by the Juran Institute Incorporated in the United States, and she served as a presenter and moderator on several Juran Institute's conferences. She's been rated by Joe DeFeo, CEO of Juran Institute, as being on par with any member of the A-list of Juran Institute's consultants, primarily working in the areas of strategy, quality, productivity, change, and customer service since 1977. Dr. Jaja assists business enterprises in Jamaica and the Caribbean region in developing and implementing company-wide management systems. She's currently the managing director and consultant of Quality Management Consultancy Company Limited and president of QMC Incorporated. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Nsombi Jaja. She's joining us online. Miss Maud Chambers. Maud Chambers is a graduate of the University of Technology, UTech, with a bachelor in accounting and minor in human resource management. Her 27 years of professional service has been entirely in the public service, serving the Department of Correctional Services for 23 years and currently the accountant in the Ministry of Tourism. Throughout her professional career, she has served on several committees, including Correctional Services Cooperative Credit Union, where she served as secretary, member of the credit committee, and then chairperson. Ms. Chambers is a recipient of the Civil Service Long Service Award and the proud mother of 2 children, and obviously a committed civil servant. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Maud Chambers. Our third and final judge, and absolutely by no means least, is Mrs. Jean Menzie Hastings. Jean Menzie Hastings has over 41 years of service, experience, and so much more in the civil service. She served as honorary secretary of the Jamaica Civil Service Association for 5 years. She also served as the JCSA's representative on the Public Service Commission for over 6 years. She's worked as a human resources manager for over 30 years in the Jamaican Civil Service, and has arranged and conducted training seminars and workshops for various levels of personnel. She currently serves on the board of the JSCA as a board, JCSA, my sincerest apologies, Limited, right, as a board director. So, ladies and gentlemen, Jean Menzie Hastings. And just in case you're wondering on in which categories or areas the presenters, the candidates will be judged or assessed, I should say, they are the use of factual information. So bear that in mind, please. The use of factual information, comprehension, persuasiveness, delivery, and delivery. Those are the 1, 2, 3, 4 areas. And obviously, if there's anything else that stands out outside of those, then I'm pretty sure that the judges will bear those in mind. But the main areas, again, factual information, comprehension, persuasiveness, and delivery. Now, we will hear from the sole candidate presenting today for treasurer, Mrs. Melanie Mullings Arnold. My sincerest apologies. I need to cross this out. So please make her welcome.
Good morning, my brothers and sisters. And with all protocols observed, I will proceed with my message. Madam Chairman, brothers and sisters, the role of the Honorary Treasurer is directly aligned with the growth and development of the JCSA, and I will use my time to shed some light on how this will be achieved during my tenure. Consider with me for a moment Rule 24 of the JCSA Constitution, which states, and I quote, "The Honorary Treasurer shall be the principal accounting officer of the association and shall perform such accounting duties at the general meetings, general council, or executive committee. The Honorary Treasurer shall also receive all monies of the association and be responsible to lodge promptly with the bankers of the association." Brothers and sisters, our mission statement clearly articulates what we stand for. That the JCSA seeks to uphold the highest qualities of professional service to the nation through a guarantee of highly trained workforce of competent and committed persons whose legitimate interests are safeguarded and affirmed through membership in the organization. The JCSA prides itself in being the union that gives our members the highest quality representation, and I assure you, JCSA mastered the art of representation. Let us also remember that the strategic plan sets out the strategic direction of the organization with specific outcomes. In order to achieve this, the Honorary Treasurer is mandated to ensure that the strategic direction is aligned with the strategic priorities. What are these priorities? Service delivery, human capital development, operations management and efficiency, and revenue enhancement. As you realize, my focus today will be the revenue enhancement. I will leave the others for my teammates to further expound. The JCSA remains resolute to ensure that we remain equipped to satisfy our members' needs. How will we address this? As you may already be aware, the value proposition of the JCSA is seconded to none on this island, and I dare say in the Caribbean. We are constantly adding value to our members, and I will show you how it is possible to supplement our income while adding value. By improving the mechanisms that drive our financial well-being, this will include, but certainly not limited to, implementing measures that will increase the subscription compliance rate to 100%. Yes, I said 100%. We will employ and retain an accounts receivables clerk whose main function is to constantly follow up with ministries, departments, and agencies where it has been determined that the payments are outstanding, short, or late. Increase in the income streams, which includes income generation from our sports complex at JCSA Park by hosting functions, conferences, and sporting events. As we all seek to improve our own health and wellness, we expect to see exponential growth in our revenue as we tap into what we believe will be can I have some water, please? So I start from the second point. Increase in the income streams, which include income generation from our sports complex at JCSA Park by hosting functions, conferences, and sporting events. As we all seek to improve our own health and wellness, we expect to see exponential growth in our revenue as we tap into what we believe will be a lucrative income stream in the area of health and fitness. Our fitness center is on track to launch by year end, and we know that together everyone achieves more. Together, we will support our gym and by extension, improve our financial position. Spend your fitness budget with the organization and watch your coffers fill up. We will utilize surplus revenue to increase the pool of investments in viable investment schemes registered under the Banking Act, the Financial Institutions Act, the Building Societies Act, or the Financial Services Act. I speak of investments such as GOJ Treasury bills, GOJ local registered stocks, GOJ debentures and bonds, BOJ repos, certificates of deposit, and of course, stocks listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. There will be constant monitoring and evaluation of resources to ensure that there is a balance between income and operational expenses. Brothers and sisters, the association, having a set of key performance targets, has experienced year-over-year growth over the period 2016 to 2020 in all areas, particularly from the inflows from our subscriptions. We have seen growth in excess of 100% in our membership from 13,000 in 2011 to 30,000 members in 2020. And brothers and sisters, we intend to continue on this trajectory towards 40,000 by December 2022. At over 120 public sector workers, we are less than halfway there. Can you imagine which more than the JCSA can strive with continuous membership growth? Ladies and gentlemen, our members are priority number one. We must ensure that dues are accurately computed and paid over so that we can continue to provide improved benefits, quality representation, and the best customer service. What are my responsibilities and experiences, in my beloved union? I have been an executive member for 2 terms. I have represented the interest of Tax Administration Department, I have represented the interest of Tax Administration Jamaica as departmental representative for over 9 years. I currently serve as a member of the Caribbean Public Services Association, CPSA, Education and Training Committee, and was elected to serve during my first CPSA conference. I have been the chair of the JCSA Sports Committee since 2015. I have also served the Members Service and Affiliations Committee and the JCSA Park Management Committee. It was indeed a proud moment in 2018 when I was asked by the management team to represent the JCSA at a Gleaners Breakfast Forum speaking on the topic, finding solutions to the current national crisis of indiscipline and violence in our society. I assisted with the staffing of the JCSA through the interview panels. Brothers and sisters, I will give you a rundown of my achievements because they are a testament to my hard work that is required to operate at this level in this organization. The President's Award 2019, Departmental Representative of the Year 2018. As Sports Committee Chair, I have led the committee which copped the Committee of the Year award on numerous occasions. This, of course, was a proud moment for the entire committee, as we know that JCSA's committees are all comprised of dedicated team members. Increased the number of participating teams in the sports competition every single year. We are now numbering 25 teams, up from 16 when I became chair. Increased the membership base, not only from my constituent, but through sporting activities and otherwise. Initiated, planned, organized, and is executing the COVID-19 care package project to our retired members and senior citizens who reside adjacent to this very park. Increased the visibility of JCSA through sports via television, radio, and print media. Assisted with the successful planning and executing of the Centennial activities. Successfully planned, organized, and executed the Centenary Grand Prix Series as a part of the 100 years celebration. Successfully led the sports committee to donate $100,000 to each health authority across the island. My brothers and sisters, I have been a certified tax auditor for just under 15 years and a lecturer in tax audit and revenue administration in the government's foremost public sector training institution. Coupled with my professional experience as an audit manager, I am more than equipped to execute the role of honorary treasurer for this union. Brand JCSA, the giant among trade unions in the millions, brothers and sisters, and managing millions of dollars on behalf of the members requires a qualified steward. To whom much is given, much is expected. So finally, brothers and sisters, what does Melanie Mullins-Arnold bring to the table of JCSA as honorary treasurer? Analytical skills, attention to details, a high level of financial oversight, diversity in the revenue stream to lower risk, increase in the investment pool, improved accounting systems, greater accountability in tracking revenue, reorganization and monitoring of the mini-mart for self-sustenance, 100% collection of subscriptions, continued improvement in timely reporting, and subsequently increased membership benefits. As our country navigates turbulent waters, we are grateful that public sector workers have been shielded from much of the financial fallout of COVID-19. However, we cannot sit back on our laurels. We must articulate and execute the vision of our forefathers and build on the firm foundations that has been bequeathed for us. We must see the JCSA that is moving from strength to strength as we continuously improve the lives of our members. I am Melanie Mullins-Arnold. A vote for Melanie Mullins is a vote for JCSA. I pledge to continue building on the vision and securing our future and to ensure to move the noble institution from surviving to thriving. Madam Chairman, brothers and sisters, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Mullins-Arnold. You did 2 seconds over your time. That's fine. All right, what I will do going forward is I'm just going to ask each presenter, I'll be in the vicinity of the camera. So just pay attention. I'll give you a 5-minute and a 2-minute warning. I'm sorry I didn't do that for you, but your speech was pretty much right on time. So, and then you know how to manage the rest of your presentation. So let's hear it again from Melanie Mullins-Arnold. Questions after everything? Okay. And just a reminder that we will take questions for each candidate after everyone has presented. All right? So your questions for Mullins-Arnold will come at the end of the presentations for first vice president. So right now we're going to hear third vice president, then we'll hear first vice president, and then the question, the Q&A will commence. With that said, third VP, only one presenter today. He is Mr. Clarence Frater. Please make him welcome.
Mr. Master of Ceremonies, President Grant, officers, General Secretary, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, both here and online, a pleasant morning to you. It is indeed a pleasure for me to be here today to give you an insight as to my candidacy for the position of third vice president. Now, it is important seems to be having some technical glitch, so we're having some technical, so we have to come closer. All right. Okay, now that we have settled those technical issues, I'll move right on. So, brothers and sisters, the name Clarence Frater has a ring about it. The acronym Frater speaks for itself. Formidable, reliable, assertive, thorough, excellent, and realistic. Now, we have to abide by a mission. Now, the Jamaica Civil Service Association has its mission which we follow. It is the Jamaica Civil Service Association seeks to uphold the highest qualities of professional service to the nation through the guarantee of a highly trained workforce of competent and committed persons whose legitimate interests are safeguarded and affirmed through membership in the organization. Now, not only do we have a mission, we also have a vision that guides us. Now, the vision of the JCSA is that the Jamaica Civil Service Association offers excellent advocacy service and support to its members who are from all areas of the public service in Jamaica. Now, today I want to focus on some specific areas. I want to give you my overall vision. I want to give you a roadmap. I want to give you a vision of specific on the strategy's priorities. I want to give you a vision on the other JCSA activities, national policy formulation, sector work, addressing employment issues, JCSA activism, and achievement. Now, what is the vision of Clarence Frater as third vice president? My vision is to provide the requisite support to the president, the general secretary, and the wider leadership of the JCSA to ensure that the vision of the JCSA is attained and maintained. Now, the roadmap. The JCSA developed a 5-year strategic plan for the period 2016 to 2020. The plan contains 8 strategic projects, 4 strategic priorities, 5 specific aims and objectives. But I'm going to zero in on the 4 strategic objectives, 4 strategic priorities. And colleagues, the 4 strategic priorities are to improve access to JCSA service, optimize financial performance, improve operation efficiency and service delivery, and improve people and performance management for results. Now, we would have to understand that I have a vision for all of these strategic areas. Now, for the first area, to improve access to JCSA services, I will provide greater awareness of the work of the JCSA, possible through, and I will assist possible through weekly or monthly 15 minutes radio or television program. I will seek to strengthen our chapter structure by providing more resources to facilitate greater reach to our members, irrespective of how far they work from the main towns and cities. I will build on the internal and external communication so that members are provided with vital and accurate information in a timely manner. I will ensure that our departmental representatives are adequately trained and informed to effectively represent the multitude of services provided by the JCSA. I will ensure that MDAs falling under my portfolio have regular meetings, at least quarterly, and that I am present as the vice president. As it relates to optimizing financial performance, I will support the honorary treasurer in her quest to collect 100% of member subscription by ensuring that all MDAs falling under my portfolio carry out annual checkups, and where discrepancy arise, to work with the MDAs to correct same. I will seek to promote the JCSA in general, but primarily in all MDAs under my portfolio to increase our membership, thus increase our revenue stream. Brothers and sisters, I will ensure that our zonal administrators effectively market the JCSA and the benefits to be derived thereof as members to increase membership. Thus again, brothers and sisters, increase our revenue stream. I will work with the treasurer, officer corps, and the executive to make prudent investment decisions. As it relates to improve operational efficiency and service delivery, I seek to assist the General Secretary to ensure that each member of staff know what the JCSA operation is about. Encourage and support the GS to provide the requisite training and cross-training for each member of staff. I will seek to help the GS, officer corps, and the executive to develop a culture that put people first. Brothers and sisters, I will seek to help the management team to improve both internal and external customer service. We must identify and remove barriers to success. I will ensure that we provide the appropriate technologies, that we review processes, because we must show appreciation to our staff. Now, we must work with the GS to improve our customer interaction, enhance our customer service strategy, and make sure that we provide an avenue for customer feedback. In respect to improve people and performance management for results, I will seek to support the GS in developing a staff engagement plan. We are not just a professional organization. The professionalism must be demonstrated at all levels of the organization. I will seek to support a review of the performance management and management and reward program to ensure that we hold staff accountable for their performance output while providing reasonable rewards. I will support a review of the performance appraisal management tool to ensure that it is relevant to our time. Now, my vision as it relates to other activities of the JCSA, I will seek to build on the cadre of industrial relations officers, brothers and sisters, greater recognition of our uniform officers, example, correctional officers. Brothers and sisters, they should be treated similar to the JDF and the JCF officers when they conduct business, especially at financial institutions. We are not just talk, we're substance. We must provide special window for public officers in our public health facilities. We must engage more managers in the MDA to find common ground that will benefit both members and the MDA. As it relates, and we continue to promote occupational safety and health within MDAs to ensure that our members operate within a safe environment. Promote the work and worth of the JCSA in the Caribbean Public Service Association and the Public Service International, to name a few. We will seek to improve pension benefits for retired public officers. We have to be more aggressive in acquiring more lands under the 20-acre per parish agreement. We must work with the president to de-link vacation leave from study leave to provide a more level playing field for all. As it relates to national policy formulation, now having a wide knowledge on several issues affecting the public in general and the public sector in particular allows me to articulate policy positions that impact our members and the wider society. My ability to research issues will assist in national policy that the JCSA deemed to be appropriate at a given time. My ability to critically analyze issues will continue to be an asset to the JCSA. As it relates to my sector-focused work, as a member of the executive, I have supported the Officer Corps and the executive in different sector activities when called upon to do so. Brothers and sisters, specifically when the former second vice president was unable to carry out her sector responsibilities, I, CJ Freighter, assigned the Ministry of Transport and Mining for a brief stint. But you know what, brothers and sisters? Within that brief stint, I met with the departmental representative for the Ministry to identify issues affecting the ministry. I engaged the industrial relations officer with responsibility for the ministry. I requested files on all the reported grievances in the ministry. I received from the IR officers update on the grievance, and where necessary, brothers and sisters, provided guidance, support to the IR officers and the departmental representative. Brothers and sisters, as it relates to my receptiveness in addressing employment issues, having spent over 25 years as a departmental representative in several locations, I must have been doing something special to be re-elected every single year. Among the issues dealt with over the years included working condition, grievances, safety issues, parking issues, favoritism, nepotism, character assassination. And I say to you again, my brothers and sisters, I participated in every industrial action called by the JCSA over the last 30 years. And of course, my activism in the JCSA is very strong. Over 30 years membership, over 25 years general council membership, over 15 years executive member, chairman 100th anniversary men's forum planning committee, chairman 1997 inaugural banquet committee, chairman JCSA Park committee, member claims cadre committee, member benefits committee, sports committee, policy and constitution committee, human resource committee, the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Union Public Sector Committee. I have been departmental representative in the Post and Telecom Department, Ministry of Industry, Technology, Energy and Commerce, Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries. My other achievements, brothers and sisters, I was part of the negotiating team that worked on the 20 acres of land per parish for housing from concept to reality. Union Estate in St. Catherine is a product of the work done. I was part of the negotiating team that resulted in the highest levels of increase in salary in the early 1990s, between 50 and 100%. I was part of the team that negotiated the 80% of market salary agreement, part of the team that negotiated the government bus service for civil servants. I was instrumental in negotiating with government to allow civil servants to be given 5 years to be academically qualified to hold their positions in the civil service. Instrumental in development of the JCSA strategic plan. Instrumental in the change from honorary secretary to general secretary, able to be a full-time employee, more work accomplished. Articulate the JCSA's position to the Honorable Minister of Finance in a recent traveling negotiation when the going got tough, and the rest is history. My brothers and sisters, as your third vice president, I, Clarence J. Freighter, I'm not just talk, I'm substance. Building on the vision, securing our future from surviving to striving. I thank you.
At this time, let's give another round of applause for the candidates. And we will be taking a break at the moment. We will have no break. Okay, we have sorted out some technical challenges that we were having. Ready now? Good. Everybody's ready now? Good morning, brothers and sisters. All protocol observed. A meaningful life is not about being rich or being popular, being highly educated or being perfect. It's about being real, being humble, being able to share ourselves and touch the lives of others. I am Keisha Camila James. I have 20 years experience in the health sector, particularly Kingston Public Hospital and Victoria Jubilee Hospital. I have 14 years experience as a representative in the Jamaica Civil Service Association. And I will say, I am very proud of the day that I saw Mr. Chung, our past first vice president, lost his way along with my past colleague, Mr. Jonah Latibodier, on Kingston Public Hospital. That day, I saw these two gentlemen, and I realized by the expression on their faces that they did not have a clue where they were going. So I stopped and said, "Gentlemen, good afternoon. May I be of service?" Brother Chung looked at me and said, "I'm looking for the boardroom to Kingston Public Hospital." I said to him, "It is around the corner on the administrative block up the stairs." So I saw he had on the Scansimar, JCSA. So I said, "And you are here for," he said, "a union meeting." I said to him, "Who are the members of this union?" He said, "We are from the Jamaica Civil Service Association, and all workers who worked in the public service can be a member." I looked at Brother Chung and Mr. Latibodier that day, and I said to them, "And you're keeping the meeting in the boardroom?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Okay, let me go and actually gather the workers to come to the meeting, but I think the location will have to change."
On that February afternoon, when I round up my colleagues from all categories around the hospital, we had to change from the boardroom to the auditorium. On that day, I was given a form to fill out because I was not a member. I didn't even know about the Jamaica Civil Service Association. However, the month after my dues was collected, I become the representative for Kingston Public Hospital and Victoria Jubilee Hospital. And over the years as a representative of those two entities, I not just sit at Kingston Public Hospital to represent the rights of the workers there. I have been integral part during my study of the FAA Act, doing the government accounting. I realized that most of my cashiers were working in contravention to the government policy and procedure. And when I did that representation, 25 cashiers were appointed because a lot of the cashiers were not appointed at the time. Every single year for the past 14 years, I am grateful for that accidental meeting with Brother Latibadir and Brother Chong. I have spent 14 years of my representation. Of the 14 years, I've spent 4 years, as an industrial relations officer with the responsibility, on secondment, with the responsibility of Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, Justice, and National Security. I was the Industrial Relations Officer with the responsibility of Northeast region. During my tenure at JCSA, I was one of the 2 staff representatives. I put myself forward to be the first vice president of the association because I want to be a further agent of change. Jamaica Civil Service Association have made strides over the years. We have improved our membership over the years. We have improved our members' benefit over the years. I was one of them because when we have our competition for membership drive, I was one of them. Over the years, I've always either become the first runner-up, second runner-up, but I was always in the top 3. And wherever I go, I sell the Jamaica Civil Service Association positively. However, what I've seen when I leave the association to went back to Kingston Public Hospital, I decided that I can't be in the role of IRO anymore, but I can still, as an industrial relations professional, assist the association wherever I go, but I can be a further agent of change as the first vice president. What I notice is that Jamaica is one of the few countries in the world that does not secure the tenure for persons who perform under contract by making jobs permanent after 2 renewals of contracts. This is something that needs to be addressed urgently. Contract employment are being used to get rid of persons rather than improve their productivities. We are operating in a service where there's no great reward for hard work, not even appreciation for our service. or guaranteed that your service will be renewed. I am here putting myself forward because I believe this is an opportunity for me to be in a position of the first vice president to protect the rights of workers on contract. The workers on contractual agreement, the casual workers, especially in the JDF, who work diligently, some of 20 years of service, is not entitled to health insurance. That I see is an urgent need. When I look at some of my colleagues in the health sector whose allowances is being withheld because after 5 years, 6 years, up to 10 years is on an yearly employment agreement. I looked at my colleagues, and at the end of some of the 10 years, they are being sent home 1 month's salary and vacation leave. And they are told that an ex gratia payment is not mandatory, but it is, if I feel like I give you, it is up to the management of the organization to give it to you. If we like you, we will give it to you. If we don't, 1 month, sir, and we part ways. Some, not even a letter to say, thank you for service render. When I look at the arena that I returned to at the Kingston Public Hospital, I returned in August. I looked at my colleagues and I hear their cry. I have seen things move from better to worse. I have seen one of my colleagues, who is a social case, sent home 1 month before a letter was even given. If the policy said that if I work for 6 months in a clear vacant post, I must be appointed. And I have seen and hear the cries of our brothers and sisters in the union. Work for 2 years only to be told that you don't meet the criteria anymore. You don't have the qualification. However, you are told, based on your experience, based on your past performance, you must train the new incumbent to take over the post that they believe you are not worthy any longer to be appointed in. I give of myself to stand as first vice president to assist with the industrial relations matter in the Jamaica Civil Service Association, who have a vision to improve the life of the workers in this country, Jamaica. The public sector is at the forefront. We are always being asked to make sacrifices. We have always been asked to bend our belly. We are expected to be treated decent in our work environment. We are expected to be treated with equity. And I'm putting myself forward to be the voice of the voiceless. I am going to assist the association to transform the public sector with transformation through equity in treatment and service render. I thank you, my brothers and sisters. Support Keisha James in being the first vice president of the Jamaica Civil Service Association. I thank you.
My sincerest apologies for my absence just now. I had to out of fire. Uh, All right, so let's hear it again for the presentation for First VP from Keisha James. I was actually listening to you online outside, and we're coming across very clearly. So I must applaud the work being done by Phase 3 to help us deliver on our requirement to allow everyone to have access. So yeah, big up Phase 3, you know, man. Big them up, no, man. Now go on, so. All right. Next, we'll hear from Mrs. Tisha Clark Griffiths, another candidate for first vice president.
Good morning. Let me take this opportunity to thank my opponent for being very brave to come here today to address you on being for the office, on vying for the office of First Vice President. Madam Master of Ceremonies, no, MC, sorry. Honorable judges, brothers and sisters, those that have joined us on social media, welcome. The trade union movement is alive and well, and the JCSA will continue to be a force to reckon with as the entity that represents public sector workers. As you may well know, the most essential part of any organization is the human capital, without which it cannot function as a representative of the employees of the largest employer in the country. We are duty-bound to safeguard the legitimate interests of these esteemed group of workers. We stand on the shoulders of giants, our forefathers, the movers and shakers of the labor movement, whose advocacy has brought us to this point and whose legacy we seek to build on. Honorable judges, over the years, the organization expanded its role beyond, way beyond grievance handling, and securing improving working conditions for workers. We are 101 years old. We know how to represent our workers efficiently and effectively. We have actioned our mission statement as we seek to uphold the highest qualities of professional service to this nation. This we do through the guarantee of a highly trained workforce of competent and committed members whose legitimate interests have been safeguarded and affirmed through membership in this organization. This organization is the largest in the English-speaking Caribbean, with 131 delegates, 30,000 members in 114 ministry departments and agencies. Friends, colleagues, this may seem like a mammoth task or even daunting task, but one like myself who knows the value of hard work and the importance of a strong team, I remind us that the concept of team is simply a very simple one. T, together, E, everyone, A, achieves, and M, more. Brothers and sisters, to whom much is given, much is required. And I am fully seized of the magnitude of the responsibility that comes with the office of First Vice President. And sitting at the right hand of my president, O'Neill Grant, and I've always been prepared to step in the role at a moment's notice. As the incumbent first vice president, I hold this office in high esteem. Having lived this experience for 2 years, brothers and sisters, this is not a role to be taken lightly. When we speak of worker representation, we're speaking of ILO Convention 135, Article 3. We look at International Labour Organization, a need for human-centered agenda for decent work for all. My opponent likes to speak about the voice for the voiceless. Well, we have an opportunity to give the voice to the public sector workers of Jamaica through contribution to the future of work, people, and technology. When we speak of worker representation, my opponents, we look at Goal 8 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, the decent work and economic growth. We are tasked with the awesome responsibility to the people to be a watchdog, to lobby the government such that working conditions in our country fall in line with the decent work agenda. Lend your voice to that. We need to lend our voice to the Occupational Safety and Health Act, which is yet to be passed in Parliament. If we wish to give our voice to the voiceless, consider this. On the 25th of June 2021, Convention 190 of the Sexual Harassment in the World of Work will be ratified by the ILO. Only 2 countries have so ratified that convention. We are yet to ratify that bill, as the bill is currently before Parliament. My opponent, this is how we give our voice to the voiceless, by lobbying the government to move with alacrity on matters such as these. Brothers and sisters, the person vying for the office must adhere to operational values. The JCSA does have their operational values, and the acronym spell GREAT. G, good governance. R, results-oriented. E, efficiency. A, accountability. T, transparency. And the final T, because this GREAT is spelled with 2 T, teamwork. My record of performance will give you a snapshot of what have been achieved over the years, over the past 2 years. And to add to my skill set at the officer level, I am a qualified public sector worker. Time would not permit me to chronicle all my journey in a fulsome way, but I will paint a picture that is valid enough to catch the vision of moving purposefully, merely from surviving to thriving. As the first VP, I'm tasked with chanting the strategic direction of the JCSA in keeping with our 4 strategic priorities: service delivery, human capital development, operational excellence, and revenue enhancement. My treasurer has already outlined the revenue enhancement priorities, so I will not go into that one. These priorities are critical to the success of this organization, this great organization, the JCSA. And as I began this journey 2 years ago, by the end of my presentation, you will have a better snapshot, of what has been achieved, Robert Burns said, and I quote, "The best laid plans of mice and men are often go awry." Go awry. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. I am not that girl. The first vice president must be able to clearly and concisely articulate and make worthwhile contribution on the 7 strategic objectives of the organization. 1, improve staff engagement. 2, to optimize the financial performance, to improve our operational excellence, to improve people and performance management, to improve the JCSA performance management capabilities, to optimize the use of revenues in the operations of the JCSA, and to improve our operational efficiency and service delivery. As first VP, you have to have the tenacity and the competence to deal with issues relating to your sectors, which are the areas in which our members earn their honest bread. Which means, my opponent, that you have to ensure that all is well on behalf of all our members. Let me just give you an idea of the sectors to which I had responsibilities for during my tenure. Tourism, Electoral Office of Jamaica, Justice, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, and Science and Technology. I will give you an idea of the various achievements which I have achieved under these 5 sectors. For tourism, my work at tourism has led to me being drafted on the Destination Assurance Committee, which is one of Jamaica's primary contribution to GDP, that's the tourism sector. At EOJ, I would have engaged the Director of Election to address a myriad of issues in the absence of representation, and has fast-tracked the election of a departmental representative. And time is of the essence, so I won't go into my achievement under the Ministry of Justice, but just to let you know that I've accomplished every task that was set out for me to do. I am in charge of my sectors, my zone, and I have 4 chapters under my zone, Western Region, that's Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James. All responsibilities were executed successfully. In terms of my committees, I have successfully executed all my roles, and we have done exceptionally well, and the record is there to prove that. And because time of the essence, I won't go into the details. Let me go to my manifesto. The Office of First VP, as I said, is an esteemed office. I am currently leading the upcoming negotiation and charge the strategic direction of the Jamaica Civil Service Association. I'm leading the upcoming negotiation and I've charged the strategic direction of the Jamaica Civil Service Association by making this negotiation period very inclusive. I've conducted strategic planning session, and of course this year our strategic plan comes to an end, and I'm in the process of drafting our next strategic plan for the next 5 years. Those competencies come with the office of First Vice President. Having noticed an organization as great as the JCSA, we've realized that there's a need for a disaster mitigation and response plan, to which I'm committed to be drafting in the upcoming year. We have 30,000 members in 114 departments and agencies, and we need a solid communication plan that has been developed. We need to look at how it is that we are going to reach our members in all ministries and agencies. We also have to, so our main priority, service delivery. We have noticed that some members have some difficulties in accessing our services. I have started the development of a member improvement plan that will guide the association in its delivery to reaching the membership. And as I wrap up, and time is against me, as First VP, I bring the skills and competencies required to handle the complexities of leading a labor organization such as this, representing a diverse workforce, from office attendants and on-demand to the permanent secretary. The office of First Vice President is not for the faint-hearted and spirit, neither is it for the dimensional. It is much more than industrial relations. We have mastered the art of industrial relations and the organization of a wealth of knowledge in worker representation. It is about unity, it is about respect, professionalism, teamwork, advocacy, and the ability to retool, to innovate, qualifications, competencies, commitment, and the ability to quickly adapt to the new paradigm in the world of work. The body has many parts, and each part must play its role effectively. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I thank you.
And we thank you too, Tisha Clark Griffiths. So we've heard from the candidates for the office of First Vice President. We've heard from the candidate for third VP, and earlier for Treasurer, Melanie Mullings-Arnold. We're going to take a brief break, probably about 3 minutes. Gather your thoughts. I hope you would have been taking your notes already, so you are prepared to raise your questions. You may ask questions via YouTube for those tuned in on that platform. How about Zoom? Can the Zoomers send questions in? Exactly. If you're on Zoom, any of the online platforms on which we're broadcasting, either Zoom or YouTube, you may submit your questions. Unfortunately, we won't be able to take all of them. The window is 5 minutes. Nonetheless, we invite you to submit those questions. Remember now, the order of the questions will be as the presenters came: Treasurer, third VP, first VP. So that 3-minute break commences now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are now into the question and answer segment of the electoral debates and presentations for the Jamaica Civil Service Association. Thank you so much for remaining with us. There are 42 people watching right now on YouTube, so we say thank you for sticking and staying with us. We've got a couple of questions from YouTube. I'm not quite sure of the Zoom numbers at the moment, but to those who are also watching on Zoom, are joining in via Zoom, we thank you as well. In fact, to be very honest, most of the questions that we've got so far are from persons watching via Zoom. We've got, how many? 39. All right, so it's just almost a 50-50 split between the two platforms. But most of the questions that we've got so far have come from the Zoom platform. I have a couple of them here, but we will, as I mentioned, take the questions for Treasurer first, then third VP, then first VP. Interestingly, most of the questions are around the first VP, as you could imagine. So let me just quickly go here from Jeffrey Marshall via Zoom. Jeffrey has a question for the treasurer. What plans are there? So please come forward so you can we can make best use of the time. I'm just going to ask each candidate to just kind of remain close by so that, or on foot, so we can reduce the time taken to arrive at the lectern. All right. Treasurer, as you arrive, what plans are there for continued and extended benefits to public sector workers, such as preferential shares at Wigton or Trans-Jamaica, etc.? And what plans are there to increase the financial capacity and management skills of public sector workers to assist in money management? So let me repeat the two questions for you. What plans are there for the continued and extended benefits to public sector workers, such as preferential shares in stocks? And the second question, what plans are there to increase the financial capacity and management skills of public sector workers in areas such as money management?
All right, thank you. Okay. Thank you very much, Brother Jeffrey Marshall, for your question. I will start with the very last one, or the second, about what plans are afoot to increase money management or to that effect in the public sector. All right, so what, for workers. All right, so what plans are afoot? We will ensure that our members are fully trained. Remember, that's a part of our motto, right? And of course, our strategic plan, our priorities. We will engage MIND, that's our institution for government workers, to, carve courses to assist our members to be very, efficient in money management. And of course, we do have education grants, and so we will possibly step up. I'm sure not possibly, but we will, because we know that we remember we said we are going to 40,000 members, and so we will have more resources to make courses like these possible for our members, grants, etc., that we do have at the Secretariat, as you're aware. And of course, we will engage, for your first question, continue to engage our finance minister to ensure that whenever these stocks are out, we ensure that we reserve some for our public sector workers, always.
Remain in place. We'll take questions from the judges.
Okay.
Good afternoon to persons tuning in on Zoom, YouTube, and persons live at JCSA, JCSA Park location. Mrs. Mullins-Arnold, the executive has requested a quick answer on whether the union can pay its immediate liabilities. State for us which financial report you'd use to answer this question, and state the ratio you'd use to do this quick test or check.
Right. Can you go ahead, repeat the question for me?
The executive has requested a quick answer on whether the union can pay its immediate liabilities. State which financial report you would use to answer this question, also state the ratio you would use to do this quick test?
Definitely would be our balance sheet or the balance sheet. And of course, the the liquid test, because we want to know how liquid our funds are if we do have that money to spend.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the judges?
Yes, I just want to find out. Okay. Let me greet all our listeners in this new day in the life of the Jamaica Civil Service Association. And I'm very happy to know that I have lived to see this day. Madam Treasurer Candidate, when you have won this election and you are now in this position, and you receive all the budgets from the various departments of the JCSA, in what budget are you going to incorporate these and why?
I definitely use the master budget.
And
And the reason for this is that the master budget it's a comprehensive budget that you take from all units of the organization. And definitely the JCSA is a huge organization, and this type of budget is definitely used for a larger type organization. And so this would fit in quite perfectly with the JCSA budget. And it's generally, budgets are usually done to incorporate all the activities of the organization over its financial period.
I have one final question from Mrs. Arnold. Develop an investment policy for funds surplus to the day-to-day requirement of JCSA is one of the strategic objectives of the JCSA. This is in order to increase the JCSA's pool of investment, and this is in the strategic plan, as I mentioned. Tell us here, the members on Zoom and Facebook, what are your plans to assist or lead the team of JCSA in achieving this?
Oh, well, okay, thank you, Judge. In terms of achieving this, we definitely want to make sure that, first of all, we need some monthly financials to see where our organization is, rather than waiting at the end of the financial year. If we do monthly budgets or monthly assessments, then we'll know what to do. In terms of investing, definitely we would want to make sure that we watch the market to see where is the best possible place that we can get better returns on our money.
Thank you.
All right, we've got another question for Mrs. Mullings-Arnold. It reads, Sister Mullings, your plan to grow revenue involves investments of dues. Please expand on your investment experience and what is your risk mitigation strategy?
All right, so currently, my investigation, and as a matter of fact, being on the executive, would have revealed that we are not necessarily where we are supposed to be in terms of our self-sustenance in collecting our revenues and making sure that it's on time to make sure our members benefit directly from what they duly require. Sorry, can you just repeat the question part of it?
So the question, expand on your investment experience and what is your risk mitigation strategy?
Okay, so we want to make sure my risk mitigation strategy is to basically, one, we do have a collecting agent right now. And of course, we know that members, or we basically, our inflows come from membership dues, all right, and subscription. And so that's a very risky income stream, because if you lose your members, your income stream will reduce. And so in order to mitigate against this, I would want to ensure that, as would have presented in my presentation, is to embark on various revenue streams to add to the diversity of the income in the JCSA.
Thank you very much, Melanie Mullings-Arnold. Those are all the questions that we have time for the Office of Treasurer. And now, third VP, searching for a question for you, Mr. Freighter. Hold on a second. But before we get there, we've got our judges. So we'll take from our judges, and then we will also take from online. So, Mr. Freighter.
Thank you so much, Mr. Master of Ceremony.
Mr. Freighter, you made a very energetic um, presentation.
Thank you so much, Madam Judge.
Very energetic presentation. And you spoke about improving access to services for, I guess, members of the JCSA. But I wanted to elaborate a little bit on what it is that you would do. How would you contribute to getting members to have greater access to services?
Okay, when you look at the levels of services that the JCSA provides currently, it is enormous. Now, one of the things that I am wary of is our members not being aware of the services that we offer. Now, we have a situation where we have chapters in each parish. We have sector focus. Now, it is one of my greatest desire to ensure that every single member of the Jamaica Civil Service Association and the wider public sector is aware of what we have to offer. What does that mean? It means that we have to strengthen our chapter facility. We have to provide them with more resources so that they'll be able to go in the nooks and crannies. If it means that our zonal ambassadors needs to get transportation from the town center to the inwards every nook and cranny so that they can speak to Brother Jane or Sister Mary, then we have to provide that facility to engage the membership. Now, we also have to have our communication at its highest level because we need to communicate. Now, it's a time now when you have so much facilities. You have the WhatsApp, you have email, you have word of mouth. Now, we have to ensure that every single chapter have every single member in their database. And so, if I am at executive meeting or officer meeting and there are information that the constituent need to have, I should be able to go on WhatsApp all my chapter chairs, and they in turn WhatsApp all their members. So within 5 minutes, every single member in that region is aware of what is happening. So that is one, those are two specific areas that we would have dealt with. But in addition to that, we have to ensure that our staff and volunteers are aware of the services that we provide. Every single member of staff should know what the operations of the associations are. And so if member A call and asks, what are the benefits that the JCSA offers? That member, irrespective of who gets that call, should be able to say, now, this is what it is, and be able to roll it off. And so you don't have to call the GS to find out because every member is aware of that. So it's a matter of reaching everybody, everywhere, every time.
Just a little follow-up quickly. I'm sure the JCSA has a public relations arm.
Yes, we do.
And how you're going on there. I mean, how are you going to ensure that you do not
encroach?
Yes.
Well, you see, the JCSA is about teamwork that makes the dream work. And so, whatever information, remember now, you have the public relations that feeds different aspects. Now, I as the vice president for my region, even if the PRO doesn't get that information to that last member in Timbuktu, I have to ensure that that member knows about. They need to know that yes, we have a education grant, and their children should be able to benefit from the grant of Ministry of Finance, or the member itself benefit from the grant of the association. We have to build this organization.
So I would have preferred to hear something about working with the PR, you know?
Oh, no, don't get me wrong.
It's okay.
Don't get me wrong. The PR is, as I mentioned, it's a team. It's a team effort. And together, we achieve more.
Okay. No further question from me.
All right, there is one question for you, sir. I'm trying to summarize it. So essentially what it's asking is, it makes reference to two previous failed campaigns for office, and what would you do differently if you're not selected this time? What will your role, your efforts be like?
You know, for some strange reason, I just love that question. Because get what? For two previous occasions, I've sought office and was not successful. But guess what? I came out with more vim, vigor, and vitality. And here I am today, speaking to my constituents, speaking to every single member of the association, and non-members, because I want them to become members. So I have the drive. I told you earlier on that I am a member in excess of 30 years. But not only that, I would have gone into the trenches in every single industrial action that the JCSA has put on for the last 30 years. It means I am with the people, for the people, and I will embrace the people.
Thank you very much, Mr. Freighter, for your very spirited responses to all the questions asked of you. Madam Treasurer, we have a couple in for you. I'm so sorry, we just got them not too long ago. From our judge online, Dr. Jaja. So I'm going to invite you to return. Ms. Mullings-Arnold? Yes? And those questions are, it's just really just two questions. So let me go with the first. You plan to increase revenue by conferences and sporting events. How do you propose to do so in the COVID-19 environment?
Okay, I'm very elated about that one. Because I can tell you, although we are having, I'm going to jump right into sports. Although we have COVID-19 going on now, we do have the ability to do virtual runs. And so by doing virtual runs, we don't have to be together at one space. You do your run right where you are at whatever time convenient to you at a particular period that is given to you. Oh, conferences. Well, we definitely will do a few advertisements to to allow persons to know that we are in the business of renting, or of course we will use up our PRO within the organization to ensure that persons are totally aware that we have a huge space at JCSA Park right here where we can host comfortable conferences and of course a huge space for parking with no challenges.
Thank you very much. That's it for you, Madam Treasurer. I don't see anything else coming in for you right now, so hopefully you can remain in your seat and not return to the lectern. Okay, now there are a couple for the vice president roles, or the first VP roles, that is. And we will start with our judges as usual, and then we will field a couple of these if the judges' questions do not cover the areas of interest here. So over to you. Well, the judges will determine that. All right, Ms. James.
You mentioned that the JCSA has made strides and you want to be a further agent of change. You also mention contract employees are being used, and if I should use your word, get rid of person. As first VP, how will you personally contributed, or will you personally contribute in being that agent of change that you want to be? How will you change this for contract persons in the system not to be given a contract to get rid of that person, as you mentioned? Tell us, how will you contribute to this? Your presentation did not mention that, and I'm certain the entire membership would like to vote for you, but we need to know, how are you going to contribute?
The core of the Jamaica Civil Service Association is about advocacy. And through advocacy, we get changes in policy. We have a policy in government that says that temporary worker can be dismissed. It's in the staff order without any reasons. If we change that policy in the staff order, we need to also change that guideline in the public sector regulation. We need to advocate for those changes because it's changed from the paper that we have. When persons, we have a regulation to say that no position should be given a contract that is on the establishment. And what we find is that you will always have excess workers because the government cadre is as old as I am. And we used to have open employment, and those open employment persons would stay in the system as temporary worker until we have posts available. We also look at the change in pension arrangement, which would have accommodated the open temporary employment, because the new pension arrangement now states that temporary employees could make payments towards their pensions. So why do we have a system now that have contract employment, which is temporary, or some persons call it contract employee arrangement when they don't want to use contract, because you have different employment arrangement. You have one where the workers is renewed every single year, which is the employment agreement, and then you have the contract, which they get gratuity at the end. When you look at those persons, their contract has been renewed every year, same type of agreement, same line, and they are given health insurance card, will put them in line with the permanent worker employees. They are given everything. The only difference is that they don't give a pension. But they are expected to measure at the same length and breadth of the permanent employee. So what I'm saying is that as the advocacy group, we need to advocate, and along with me as the first vice president, I will advocate to get those change in policy. You're welcome.
Can you further go on to state any of the steps you take in advocating this change?
One of the steps we will get to making the advocacy for change. Currently, the staff order is being reviewed. And I honestly believe as JCSA, we can use that opportunity to get that changes. Even we are in an era of negotiating for employment. We can also use it as a deal breaker to get rid of some of the contract or work arrangement. The Nurses Association tried it, and currently no nurses is being placed on contract. So I believe that we can use a forum as a negotiation process to help secure some of our workers and let them be able to support themselves and pay some money towards their pension by changing the work arrangement for them on the job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
The lion's share of interest in terms of questions is really around your first VP role. So let me have this question. It's for both of you. Wow, I love these questions. They're interesting. This new environment, we'll go in the order in which you presented. So we'll go James and then Clark Griffiths. This new environment requires a very different strategy of working and growing. We see a number of organizations making a transition. What is your plan to transform the JCSA to a digital strategy? So both of you may respond.
COVID-19 has forced how we operate. And I have noticed that JCSA is already making the change, because today, digital change in reaching our members, we have to do things differently. We are going online. Members can email or their grievances to us. We are having Zoom meetings. We are having, I've noticed that we are also having Zoom court. So as JCSA, we are forced our hands because of Corona to get with technology. And I will be there along with the president as a team and other staff member, the PRO, as a team, because even if as a vice president, there's no I in team. And we have to change to reach all members, whether it is through Zoom, YouTube, Facebook. We have to change. Because if we can't reach our members out there, that don't mean that we're not going to represent our members. We are going to use different strategy, even if they have to WhatsApp it, even if we have to have conference, industrial relations meetings, even if we have to have, as today, we having a Zoom debate. So I believe that based on the force, we just have to change, and we are already in the process of doing that change as a union.
Thank you for your question. The Jamaica Civil Service Association is far advanced, and we would have developed a membership database, which is about 90% complete. That database will allow us to reach all of our members. With the use of technology, we'll be able to better reach our members via text messaging and other technological advancement. We have also contemplated the process of utilizing our website so that persons can apply for membership online and do various services that our association offers. We are also contemplating developing an app, a JCSA app, that all members can download on their smartphones, and they can now track their application process and also be able to track any grievances that they may have in the organization. And that is what I'm going to be supporting going forward.
Another question for both of you. The landscape of the public sector will be very different in the future. How will you prepare your constituents for the changes which are likely to come in the next year or so? Again, James and then Clark Griffiths.
I love that question. Currently, I'm from the health sector. And technology and COVID has put the health sector smack in the forefront of how we get to protect our workers, our health sector, our frontline workers, while they're on the job. We would have gone out there as frontline workers to change certain things, and we are a work in progress. But I will say that the improvement that is needed to get our members, our workers, our citizens of this country to improve our health services. And one of the recommendations is to put a timeline to each visit to the hospital. Currently, we are giving persons 7 o'clock in the morning. And if we have 100 patients, 100 persons are given that 7 o'clock appointment. That endangers our citizens and also our members. What we need to do is set it on an appointment basis. Contact the workers, the patients who don't have to come in first. We need to put a system that who can work, especially the admin staff, from home, work from home. But we have some workers who can't work from home. Our nurse aide, our health aide worker, our nurses, our doctors, our radiographers, we can't work from home. The assessment officers can't work from home. The janitors can't work from home. However, we can lessen that crowd. We can also lessen that waiting period that persons come in by giving everybody an appointment 1 hour in between. They give a set of patients. So the doctors start work from 7 o'clock in the outpatient areas. And also we have a 24 hours emergency room. And we take it because we have already working on the emergency, and we are going to take it to the antenatal clinics, the health centers out there to do the appointment basis instead of we have one time in the morning for everyone. Thank you.
The JCSA is far advanced in its contribution to the flexi work arrangement policy. We would have met, consulted with our general counsel, and provided a position paper on the flexi work arrangement. Technology has to be the way to go in the new era. We are currently Zooming. We would have been hosting our general counsel meetings online, reaching those persons who are unable to come to travel based on our current circumstances. We would have initiated a number of initiatives. We have a WhatsApp group. We have emails, and as I said before, we're in the process of developing an app, a JCSA app, that everybody will be able, all members will be able to get information via the app. And we also have our website, provide information on our website, so persons in our constituency can be readily accessed. It's also important that we look at digitization. Digitizing our records. We are 101 years old. We have a history so that we can preserve them. We also have to look at the way in which we do business going forward. We are an organization with 30,000 members. So even reaching our constituency in the event of a disaster, we must have a disaster mitigation and response plan in place. And that is why I will be channeling my energy to the development of a disaster mitigation and response plan. And so I think our membership is well, we have thought about them, and we are well advanced in our processes to get to all our 30,000 members.
Thank you very much, ladies. We have one more question. Unfortunately, we can only take one more question in the interest of time. And that question is, what plans have you put in place for rural members to have full access to the benefits of the association? Let me repeat. What plans have you put in place, or I suppose will you put in place, for rural members to have full access to the benefits of the association. James, Clark Griffiths.
Thank you for that questions. As first vice president, as I said before, the first vice president position is not a position in a vacuum. It's a team position. And already the Jamaica Civil Service Association has a plan to have a mini mart in each parish. That would be one of the benefits of the association to reach the members in the rural area. When you go online, members in the rural area don't have to come in town to drop off their forms for application for membership, grants or anything. They can stay in the rural area and do so. They have an administrator in each region. The administrator in that region would take care of that rural region so that the members get the benefit. Because we always have to remember the Jamaica Civil Service Association is not Kingston and St. Andrew. It is all the parishes in Jamaica. When you look at it, as the first VP, we could advocate that the process kind of hasten because our members out there are crying and feeling that they are left out, and we can try to put more spokes in our wheels to hasten the process of reaching more members and getting the services out there to them. Thank you.
What plans do I have to put in place for members to have full access to benefits? We have recognized that there is a gap in the benefits reaching our membership. And we have acknowledged that, and we are putting a plan in place to deal with it. I would have already engaged the British Council on forging a relationship with them for them to have training sessions, and these will be done island-wide, and it is going to be done virtually. So members, just like in this occasion, can log on and access those training sessions. In addition to that, we are going to be working with the communication arm of the JCSA to sensitize our members island-wide on the benefits that is currently offered by the JCSA. We have a chapter chair in each parish. We have departmental representative in each ministry, departments, and agencies. It means, therefore, that as departmental representatives, as chapter chairs, and as officer corps and president, all of us, it is our responsibility to ensure that our constituents are fully appraised of the benefits that the JCSA offers. And it is not just thrusted on one person, but all of us, through our own constituency, will be able to deliver and to sensitize our membership. We have been getting complaints about persons not being able to benefit, and all the benefits is around Kingston and St. Andrew, but we have changed that, and we're far advanced in making it possible. We'll be rolling out in a second mini-mart in the West. We would have forged a relationship to craft a resort center, to establish a resort center adjacent to this building. The Women's Action Committee is advancing that process. We would have completed a number of initiatives, and we would have lobbied for benefits through our negotiation. This year, our negotiation is going to be very inclusive. We will engage each ministry, departments, and agency based on their various sectors for them to provide feedback on what it is that is required for us to put in our claims going forward. And so we are going to make it as inclusive as possible in order to reach out to every single person, and every single member will have an opportunity to benefit. Of course, the use of technology is going to be the driving force going forward. Thank you.
Thank you to all the presenters and our judges and those viewing online for your questions and expressions of interest. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, we are not able to take all the questions, but you have some time between now and the 16th of July, which is the date for the rural elections, and the 30th of July for the urban elections. So between now and then, let's hope that you can, or not hope, but make sure that you get in touch with all the available candidates to get your questions answered, and then you can make the best decision based on that. Now we're going to take a quick break, and we return at 5 minutes past 1. At that time, the judges will make their pronouncements, and then we will close the afternoon's proceedings. So that's what I understand, by the way. So rejoin us at 1:05, exactly 1:05, not Jamaican 1:05. Join us at 1:05. The judges will make their pronouncement then, and then we will close. Thank you so much. be aware. Good. Good. Okay. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, those in-house and those online, to the inaugural electoral debate and presentation of candidates in the Jamaica Civil Service Association. I'm Garth Williams, the moderator. And if you're just joining us, you would have missed out on a very good series or season of presentations and question and answer from the candidates and from those of you who are watching online. We are at the moment where the judges or the pronouncement from the adjudication panel will be made. And that duty, it's a team effort, by the way. Just to remind you, the three judges are Dr. Nsombi Jajo, Ms. Maud Chambers, and Mrs. Jean Menzie Hastings. And the latter will be the one to share that opinion of the judges just now. So please welcome again Mrs. Jean Menzie Hastings.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have to express my pleasure at being asked to participate in this debate. It's a first for us as an association, and I'm really happy to see how we have progressed as an association and how we are making use of new technologies in this pandemic situation. We are not being held back, we are pressing forward, pandemic or not. Now, we had a very good set of speakers today, and credit to the Jamaica Civil Service Association for identifying these persons, and to the Jamaican Civil Service for producing these persons. We had candidates for 3 positions: treasurer, 3rd vice president, and the 1st vice president. And we will just take the comments in the order of which the presentations were made. First, we had our treasurer candidate, Mrs. Melanie Mullins Arnold. We thought that she made a very good presentation. Thought she was quite enthusiastic, and she kept her time very well. Her presentation was good, and she did make suggestions as to things that she would do to improve the financial status and the financial base of the association. The 3 judges, we had a discussion among us, and we shared our comments and shared the marks, because I see you have points here. So we allotted points according to what we have here. And we decided that we would just make a presentation as one, rather than 3 separate presentations. Right. The plans for the further development and use of the park. We had a little challenge with the focus on the conferencing part of it. We're not saying it's not going to raise money. However, we don't think that too much focus should be placed on the conference part of it, because there are so many facilities available now for conferencing around, especially around Kingston and St. Andrew. We would not want us to place too much focus on the conferencing part of it. What we didn't get from it too was, we're still in the pandemic, and I hear we will probably be in this position for another year. It's possible. So we didn't hear anything about how you're going to manage the social distancing and so on during these conferences, and that has to be a strong consideration in a climate such as this. We liked the idea of investment, and we think that you can work on that to broaden the investment base so that we get the best out of the investment. Now, our score, and we are giving 1 score because we averaged what all the judges gave. We scored 14. We thought you maintained good eye contact, and we thought your presentation was quite good and interesting, and you were enthusiastic about it. For the position of third vice president, no. Pardon?
What's the total number?
Oh,
What's the maximum number of
Well,
points?
1,
the
2,
maximum
3,
you can
4,
get is 16.
16. 16. 16. So everybody is out of 16. Now we had Mr. Frater for the third vice president position. We would love to have heard more about his own thoughts and plans for fulfilling the role as third vice president. We thought we'd love to hear some more about what he was actually bringing to the table. I mean, extremely enthusiastic presentation, very enthusiastic. And we think he's passionate about the Civil Service Association. But we felt, Clarence, you could benefit from exhibiting a little humility, you know? You spoke about your achievements very well, and yes, we know you have some achievements that you can be proud of and that the association can be proud of, but we could do with a little humility there. We ended up scoring 11 out of the 16 for the third VP position.
And that is because Dr. Jaja was not able to score you.
Yes.
She was not able to hear most of your presentation, so you were average out of two judges and not 3.
Yes.
She thought it not fair to give you a score because she was not able to hear most of your presentation.
Right.
But what she did hear, she thought that you were very passionate about serving.
Yeah.
And we all thought that the fact that you went up, you contested offices twice before, and you were not successful, nevertheless, you have not stopped
Yes. So
giving of yourself, and it's very commendable.
the passion is there. Yes. We move next now to the first vice president, and we had 2 candidates here. We had Miss Keisha James. She was the first one who went up. So we'll just take hers. Keisha, we can see your passion. We could practically feel your passion. According to Dr. Jaja, and we concurred that you have fire, that you addressed some very practical issues, and we were all 3 of us impressed with that first meeting with Mr. Chong and company, and how you handled it and what you did there, moving the meeting from the boardroom to the auditorium. So, you know, we felt though that we didn't get any big picture plans from your presentation. Remember, this is the first vice president. This is next to the president. You have to step into those shoes in the event of any emergencies. And so we feel that with a little more coaching and mentoring, you are really going to make an awesome candidate, hopefully for president. We scored, on an average, 11 out of the 16. And that is basically because we felt that you really needed more coaching and mentoring to bring you up to the level that you need to be. And that you didn't present, you didn't give us a big picture outlook in your presentation. Nevertheless, it was a good presentation. And then for Mrs. Clark Griffiths, we did get some big picture thinking out of your presentation. We thought it was good. but we thought that your time management was a little off because a lot of the things that we really wanted to hear would have come at the end, but then your time was finished. So we didn't get to hear all of that. But we did give you extra points for the big picture thinking there. We wanted to know what is the process of developing the strategic plan, because you did say that you were in the process of developing that plan. Who is involved? Because certainly it's not you alone. You know, who is involved? There are two comments for the JCSA, which I will say afterwards. But Keisha, we liked your presentation. We think you thought it out quite well, and we gave 15 out of 16. That includes the extra points which we gave for the big picture thinking. For the JCSA, we wanted to find out why we were waiting until one plan was ended before starting another one, because the planning should be ongoing. Well, that's the impression we got. That's the impression we got. Eh? Because I didn't think that my association would do that, but that's the impression we got. All right. And I think that was the question. That's the main question that all three of us had. All three of us
You
had.
should be able to respond.
So the current strategic
We still have an audience, so the speaker. Just suddenly feel very
So the
cold.
current strategic plan runs from 2016 to 2020. It comes to an end at the end of November of this year. We have last year at our strategic planning retreat, we would have identified some areas of focus. So we have started to craft our strategic plan for 2021 to 2025. We would have identified members from the executive. We have 5 technical working groups, the
Okay.
wellness, executive agencies, and I don't remember all 5 right now, but we've identified 5 technical working groups. Those technical working groups have made their submission already, so we have drafted the first draft. That plan will be discussed with the current executive, the new executive, and then the second draft will be taken to the executive, to the general council for their input. So it is a very inclusive process. By the end of November, we should be able to have our final plan in place, anticipating our 2021-25 strategic year.
Okay, thank you. I think we are comforted, so to speak, knowing that you didn't wait until one had ended before starting another, because that is the way it should be. All right, I think those are our comments on the presentations, and thank you all very well, and we wish you success in your elections when the time comes, and whoever is chosen. We heard a lot about teamwork, and we're hoping that that will definitely be practiced, and that the association and the country as a whole will benefit from your input.
Thank you very much, Jean Menzie Hastings, and to Maud Chambers and Dr. Nsombi Jaja for your contributions, for taking the time to sit, think through, evaluate, and respond in, well, pretty short time, to be honest. You had quite a bit in front of you, and it is evident that you spent the time to pay attention, to take notes, and to share. And what I might be a little out of bound here, but I just want to make a recommendation that your comments and your recommendations be shared with the executive or whichever body is responsible now, so that they can be taken into consideration. I would also like to use the opportunity to congratulate you all, candidates, on your presentations. Yeah. And just to kind of give you a couple of hints as somebody with a little tips of experience where these matters are concerned. One, remember Sure, sure, okay. Before I share my thoughts, I understand that Dr. Jaja has a comment that she would like to share via Zoom. So we are going to go to that right now, and then we can close out. Dr. Jaja, you're on.
I'm on. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Oh, awesome. Regarding the strategic plan, my suggestion, I mean, I was very impressed with the fact that you have decided to do this in this form and engage so many persons in it. So I'd like to congratulate JCSA on this event. But regarding the strategic plan, Tisha, every year, the strategic plan should be pushed out one more year. So you should never, ever come to the end of a 4-year or a 5-year period and then you start your strategic planning from there. So next year, so you have your strategic plan 2021 to 2025. When you go into your strategic planning for 2021, you will now push it out one more year. So it will be now 2022 to 2026. So at any point in time, you would have a 4-year or a 5-year strategic plan. It should never. And the reason for this is because our environment is so dynamic. Yeah. Because from year to year, I'm sure when you do your PESTEL and your SWOT, a number of things have changed. And so the strategic direction changes, the strategic priorities change. And may I recommend, I went through your strategic plan, and please receive as lovingly as I am giving you this feedback. It's hard to read. It's hard to engage with. And if I found it so difficult to engage with it, I know your members are going to have 10 times the difficulty engaging with it. So I'm going to recommend to you that you use a balanced scorecard. Simple, very focused, using diagrams. You have the strategic priorities already outlined on the people, tools, and technology, the financial perspective, the process perspective, and the customer perspective. You already have it there in your strategic plan. So it's really just a matter of you organizing it within that framework that the balanced scorecard provides. Plus, it also provides you with the targets and the measurements that you are able to measure your performance on. At this stage, at that level, at the executive level, Tisha, this is where you are going to have to put a lot of your emphasis and your attention, because the digital strategy is not just about the use of technology. It's about a way of thinking, it's about a way of being, it's the platforms that you establish the JCSA on. And I'm saying this because that's where we are with the Jamaica Customer Service Association. We are JCSA, not JCSA. And so we are bringing in a digital strategist to work with our board in establishing a digital strategy for the organization, because we know it can't be business as usual. The environment is different, and it now allows us to reach a much wider cross-section of audience. So it's a huge opportunity for us to pivot, but it's going to require a particular mindset on the part of the leadership of JCSA in order to take the organization into this. And it's not just about emails and Zoom and all of those kind of stuff. It's much, 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 much bigger than that. So I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to have participated with you. And I'm really very impressed with what it is that you guys are doing.
All right, let's hear it for Dr. Jaja and her contribution. All right, so just a quick bit of coaching for future presentations, and this is for all candidates wherever you are. All right. One, we speak on average 2 words per second. On average, 2 words per second, which means if you have a 15-minute presentation, it's 15 times 60 times 2, which is 1800. All right? So your speech should be in and around the ballpark of 1,800 words. Right? I'd probably recommend, because it's for candidacy and for presentation purposes, that you kind of shave it off a little bit and make a presentation around 16 to 1,700 words. Why? Because at different points, you may pause for effect. You may want to repeat a point, right? And you don't necessarily want to write your speech and repeat that point in the speech and the script, because you may confuse yourself, right? But bear that in mind so you can keep within your time constraints. Also, what you want to do is structure your presentation in a very easy manner for persons to understand. So, introduction, achievements, plans. Right? If you go in that order, you certainly can't lose. I tell you what, well, when I say lose, not so much the election, right? But what happens is that we know who you are. We see you. I'm wrapping up now. I don't have 1,800 words here. But people already know who you are. Likely there's going to be a caption on the screen or whatever it is. You'll have other opportunities to interact, right? Don't dwell too much on who you are, but point out the achievements and point out things that are measurable. So if you moved something from point A to point B, something went up by a percentage point or whatever it is, membership grew, whatever it is, pick achievements that are measurable. Right? People love quantity or quantitative information when it comes to elections. They want to know, see, I did actually do something. It's not about how I feel or what you intend to do while you had a certain amount of responsibility. And then you get into your plans. Again, keep your plans very simple. Identify maybe 3 things, maybe 4 things, but don't go 5 and 6. Right? Use the 5 and 6 when you have an opportunity to talk to people one-on-one. So you might identify 3 things. Identify 3 things which are measurable and explain how you will get those things achieved. Say that you will engage this person, this entity. You have secured a certain amount of interest in a particular way. Speak to the plans very clearly. Make them as explicit as possible so the listeners, the viewers can go, oh, that's how she planned to do it. At the end of the present, or he plans to do it. They shouldn't have to be wondering what you are going to do or how you're going to do, right? At the end of your presentation. Those are my few words in Jesus' name. All right. So, again, I thank you sincerely for the opportunity to have been here. I wish you all the very best. I was saying to the candidates outside that I've never worked a day in the public sector, and they told me how much I'm missing out. I am aware of your struggles a lot. We hear quite a bit, and I think it is time for us to treat our civil service with greater respect. You do so much for all of us. Yeah. So I sincerely hope that this organization and its executive will be able to work with other similarly aligned civil service organizations so that you can lobby better. And I'm sure the Jamaican public will be behind you. We want to know, say, una do things and una get money because you deserve it. You know what I mean? And I wish for all of you the very best in your campaigns. You have your urban elections July 30 and your rural elections July 16. So get out there, hit the road, make use of the technology, wear your mask, sanitize your hands, stay safe. Right? For those of you who are watching online, we have come now just about to the end of today's proceedings. We invite you all to make sure that you get in touch with your candidates, ask the important questions, vote on logic, not on emotion. It have to make sense when you now vote. Don't vote because of how it feel. Vote because it makes sense. What you need is to make sense, right? So that's it from me. On behalf of the entire team here, to all those who worked so hard behind the scenes, again to Phase 3 for facilitating the streaming and coverage of this event online. Rhonda, I don't know who else to mention behind the scenes are working hard. Shanae, yes, and Ms. Powell Williams and the entire team of organizers. I give you a round of applause. I think you guys did good for the first one, and I look forward to seeing you do others in future. God bless you. Take care.